Welcome to the Reparenting Daily podcast. In this podcast, we'll dive deep into reparenting, exploring tools and resources to help us through our journey. The podcast is divided into 3 sections. First is a reading. Second is a discussion of the reading followed by a journal prompt. And the last section is a peaceful meditation for closing. Today's reading is from the ACA Yellow Workbook. We're reading from page 145. The section is entitled Sexual Compulsivity. Many adult children have struggled with sexual compulsivity that has brought great sorrow and a hellish isolation from society. However, isolation doesn't stop here. Sexual compulsivity separates the adult child within. The sexually compulsive self is at odds with the true self, and this serves as a battleground of compulsion versus doing the right thing. In this person, you have the self divided against the self. This conflict is common among all adult children, but is highlighted by sexual compulsivity. Sex addicts live in a state of toxic shame fueled by despair. They live and breathe and walk in hell each day. They are driven by compulsions, and obsessive thinking overpowers their rational mind. These adult children are deeply hurt individuals who can get better if they find absolute honesty and hang on while God acts. When an adult child progresses into sexual addiction, they become 2 people. They can be hardworking and creative people on the job, and an obsessive sex addict when they are cruising restrooms, parking lots, or bars for sex dope. We are not moralizing on sexual preferences here. We are talking about our selfish, predatory adult children who place themselves and others in danger with unsafe or illegal sex. This behavior can occur by gay or straight adult children. Sexual addiction does not respect sexual preference. We cannot rule out innocence being harmed by a perpetrating adult child as well. After acting out sexually, many of these adult children reel in horror with what they have done. However, they return to the same acting out behavior or worse unless help is sought and sought earnestly. These adult children live out a cycle of work, ritualistic thinking, acting out, and remorse. Then the cycle begins again. Some adult children will spend the rest of their lives in prison for sex crimes they're powerless to avoid. And that's the reading for today. Sexual compulsivity. This is a tricky one. That desperate need for validation, the search for love and acceptance and craving, the release of oxytocin, the cuddle hormone, the bonding hormone. Sexual compulsivity is easy to fall into, and at first glance it might seem less destructive than substance issues or other concerns, at least physically, beyond diseases, unwanted pregnancies, and the consequences of those unwanted pregnancies. More adult children, future adult children. So as we think and reflect on sexual compulsivity, how has your sexuality played out in your life? I think there's a flip side to this that didn't get to in this section, but an actively sexually compulsive person versus a sexual anorexic person. So there can be 2 extreme reactions. Do you identify with either sexually compulsive, constantly seeking out the next hit, or sexually anorexic, avoiding reaction and connection, being unable to feel the pleasure within sexual contact? So as we take some time to think about this today, reflect on where you are with your sexuality. Are you having good experiences, both solo and together, with your partner? Do you feel comfortable talking about your sexuality, admitting to yourself where you're not happy, or even admitting to yourself your fetishes or things that you would secretly like to try? It's okay to take some time and to think about this today and reflect on where you stand at with your sexuality and your sexual compulsivity. Thank you again for being here, and now let us move on to the final section, the meditation. This is an unguided meditation. I will simply provide some music and you can take some time to relax. Please feel free to choose a location and a place where you feel safe and where you can be undisturbed for the next 10 minutes. You can choose to be sitting down, standing, as you like, wherever you are most comfortable. Thank you for being here and enjoy the meditation.